welcome to Hoppers Motorsport Vlogs. Good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening. Welcome in, fellow petrol heads, fellow motor enthusiasts, and fellow car fanatics, and of course, petrol heads as well. Welcome in to a bit of a vlog. It's the first vlog of 2025. And yes, before we get into today's vlog, I'll just introduce myself. If you don't know who I am Hoppers. I'm the voice and the face of Hoppers Motorsport Vlogs. But today's vlog is all about, should I have gone to the British Touring Car Championship way before 1999, or was 1999 the right time for me to attend Britain's premier motorsport category? We're going to go into a bit of details about it, and obviously, talk about, was 99 the right time for me, or should I have gone earlier, like 97 or 96 or even 98, with the BTCC. People know that I've seen variations. I'm actually celebrating my 26th year this year as being a fan, and I think it's only fair that I do a vlog and give you guys my experiences. So yeah, basically 1999 started my journey following the British Touring Car Championship. I've done it for many years now, whether I've been spectating trackside or whether I've been watching at home. I think personally, being trackside, you get a real buzz because you see the cars, you hear the cars, whereas watching at home in a chair, it's not the same atmosphere. You have to crank the volume up on your telly to literally get the full immersion, should we say, and basically, such forth. So yeah, I went in 1999 at Alton Park, Bank holiday weekend, with my father, and for the first time I was about nine years old at the time. Had no idea what BTCC was all about. Okay, I may have played the games, but when I played the games, I thought it was a made-up championship. I thought, maybe I should have paid more closer to detail. Obviously, with excuse me, with the opening movie that they had in Tokyo Touring Car Championship, and realised, it is actually a real race series. And then, of course, Tokyo 2, later on in 99. I think that came out later on in 99, or early in 99, so, which was the 98 season. And then Tokyo Touring Car Championship was the 97 season. So, obviously, I went and I thought, this is, a great experience. As I say, I'm celebrating 26 years of following the championship this year. I think, I've seen all manner of rules, such as like Super Touring, BTCT, which is of course the Vauxhall Astra Coupe, the Peugeot 406 Coupe, the Alfa 147, the MGZS, and of course the Lexus IS 200. And then of course Super 2000, which was like a Seat Toledo, Seat Leon Alphas, Vauxhall Vectra, the DC5, Tegra Type R, and such for Honda Civics, and then obviously the next generation touring car, which is the current breed, but then obviously the next generation touring car with the hybrid boost and the hybrid power, which is now abolished for this year. Obviously, you've still got next generation touring car, but it's sustainable fuel and a turbo boost. So we're going to see what 2025 brings. But yeah, as I say, I kind of wish I did go earlier, obviously either 98 or 97, to get a real buzz for the BTCC. However, I think the reason why I wish I went earlier, and I'll be honest, is, given I'm a huge petrol head, I'm a huge motor enthusiast, as I have been since a tender age of a little child. I'm 36 this year. But when I was like maybe 2 or 3 years old, going around the car park with my late grandparents, who are sadly no longer with us, naming all the cars then, I think that's, what spurred me to like cars and then get into motorsport. I don't know how to word this, but with the calibre of liking cars as a young age, going to BTCC maybe in 97, 98 wouldn't have been a bad thing. It probably would have been better. Yes, okay, when I went to Alton Park 1999, I didn't realise Super Touring was becoming more expensive for the cars to be run because of bespoke parts essentially, and ultimately, I missed out on seeing some cool cars such as the Audi A4 in its four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive format. The green and gold Peugeot 406, the car that Tim Harvey, Paul Radicic, and of course Patrick Watts raced in 97 and 98. I was lucky enough, just to throw this in as a plug, I was lucky enough to interview Patrick Watts last year in 2024. And try and talk about the Peugeot if I could. He's actually got one. I'd like to actually go and visit him personally and actually go and see that car. Who knows what it might hold. So, and obviously seeing the likes of, like obviously Frank Beeler, John Bincliffe, excuse me, and a lot more people in the BTCC grid. I wish I got involved in the BTCC in 97, 98 sort of time. However, going in 99, okay, I saw the 5-cylinder Volvo S40, in its last hurrah as the BTCC. That car, you can hear it before you see it because of the 5-cylinder engine. I kind of wish I got involved in the I kind of wish I got involved in the BTCC prior to 1999, because obviously seeing the cars I wanted to see, like the Audi A4, in it, both the front two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive car, because obviously the four-wheel drive car then got banned for 98, because it had pretty much a good advantage getting off the line, and it's quite good in the wet, whereas, the two-wheel drive format in 98 with a Van Muller seemed to be a bit of a learning curve. So, to adapt to that, and obviously it was Audi's last hurrah in the BTCC, and it was kind of a really big shame that the A4, the A4 Quattro was no longer racing. Same with the Peugeot green and gold 406. That car to me, to this day, was probably the car used on the games quite a bit, because it's probably the car I had a soft spot for in later years of the BTCC. Okay, I like the Ford Mondeo, the rapid fit Ford Mondeo, because I was obviously following Anthony Reid, and of course Alan Manu at the time when I first went. So I kind of wish, I wish I got to know BTCC, prior to going in 1999. I kind of wish I went for the first time in 98 instead of 1999. But then again, maybe I didn't know much about it, and same with my dad. So I think, given 1999 was probably pinnacle anyway, because obviously Super Touring was dying a death in 2000, and to witness the last 2 years of Super Touring maybe was the right thing to do. I don't, if you've got any comments about it, just let me know in the comments, but I feel like, Super Touring was, and I'm going to say this now, was pinnacle of the British Touring Car Championship. It can't, people say, what's your favourite era of BTCC? Well, it has to be Super Touring, doesn't it? I don't just, go on about 1999 when I first went. I dive into yesteryears and try and talk about previous years of the BTCC, because it shows that, it's a championship, as I say, 26 years of following it this year, to realise where it all stems and how, how important it is to be part of my life. Looking back at the last couple of years, especially with the hybrid era, when that came in, we'll just talk about hybrid briefly, but when the hybrid era of BTCC came in 2022, I was thinking, I'm not going to like it. I thought the cars were going to be completely quiet, and just be like a battery powered car, a race car, basically like an electric car. But then it just turned out it was a hybrid boost. So, it really really put my mind at ease, should we say, with how, how the BTCC is evolving. Yes, you can't go back in time and say, yeah, we'll run Super Touring and then run Next Generation later on down the line. You've got to go with the current times. You can't just move back. You've got to move forward. And I think at the time of realising, BTCC was going to become a big thing, I realised there's bigger fans out there than me, that have followed the BTCC for so many more years than I have. And I'm not jealous one bit because, I'm grateful for following it in 1999, but I wish I knew it sooner or followed it sooner, because then when it came to the games, I could have said, yes, this is exactly how I didn't, this is exactly how it is. It wasn't a made up championship that I thought it was, and I think that's why it stems that going in 99 to the current date, okay, there was a few years I didn't go, like, for example, 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 17 and 18, I've missed a few years out, but I've watched it still on telly, I've watched it for years, I've still watched it. But when you when you're trackside, it's a thrill of the experience, to see the cars, to smell the smells and hear the engines and, meet the drivers and such, such as like guys like Anthony Reid, Dan Rowbottom, Matt Neal, just to throw a few people in there, Michael Grease, the legend Steve Soper, Jason Plato, to realise that BTCC was going to become a big part of my life. I kind of wish I met the likes of, Frank Bieler, because obviously with the four-wheel drive Audi Quattro that he won the championship in '96 with, to realise he was, Audi's dominant, and people like, for example, Joe Winkelhock, drivers that have come from overseas, to race in the British Touring Car Championship. There's not even technically now an overseas driver in the BTCC to this day. Okay, we've got Aaron Taylor-Smith. Yes, he's from Ireland. He's from Southern Ireland, but it's not really like an international driver from like Italy, like Fabrizio Giovanardi was back in the day, or Gabriele Tarquini, or guys like Frank Bieler and Joachim Winkelhock and Ricard Vidal and such forth. There's no major international influx of a British touring car driver now. It all seems to be British based, which, it's no disrespect to the mainland drivers, such as the guys I mentioned like Matt Neal, Jason Plato, Dan Rowbottom, Aaron Taylor-Smith, Mikey Doble, any driver that's been mainland BTCC now, it seems to be mainland. And I think the international talent has sort of spread out and sparsed out by, going elsewhere. The likes of Yvan Muller, he competed in World TCR or World Touring Cars, Fabrizio Giovanardi, he's now retired, I believe. Ricard Vidal's now back home in his native Sweden doing F1 commentary, and obviously Swedish motorsport commentary. You've got, of course, Gabriele Tarquini, I believe he's now retired, and it's a bit of a shame, really, because all these international drivers that were competing in the BTCC, for previous years and maybe years before I was even born, the likes of Gabriele Tarquini, he was racing 1994 for Alfa Romeo in the British Touring Car Championship, the controversial year of British Touring Cars, in my opinion, where the Alfa 155 came to Britain and ultimately, bent the rules, and then ultimately they came back to race, but then they were told, this is, you've got to conform to this, and, basically, then it became 95 that all cars would have to have adjustable front splitters and rear spoilers. So, it stemmed quite a lot, and that's probably why I kind of wish I knew the BTCC prior to 1999. However, knowing it from 1999, maybe it was the right thing. Maybe, channel the inner experience of becoming a BTCC fanatic. Like I say, I've been following it for 26 years this year. It's been a bit of a whirlwind of emotion, supporting drivers. Some have left, some are still in the championship. Look at the likes of, Matt Neal. We'll take Matt Neal as an example. 3-time British Touring Car champion. He last raced in the championship in 2020 when it was the COVID hit pandemic year, which, that threw up a few surprises within the BTCC, with drivers leaving left, right and centre, and, some drivers not coming back and some taking a year out, and, but obviously Matt was a stalwart of BTCC. He'd been in it for a very long time. He'd actually been in it as old as me, really, given if he raced now, I think this would have been technically, because he started in 91, I believe. So it would have been his 36th, maybe 37th year in the BTCC. I might be wrong with the maths, so just bear with. But he would have been, he's a proper legend of the sport, and he would have been racing for a long time. However, given team dynamics, you got, most of you guys may know Team Dynamics, the family-run team. Steve Neal, Matt's dad, sadly passed away a few years ago. God bless his soul. Steve was the pinnacle of Team Dynamics, and then Matt took over the reins, and then sadly Dynamics decided, to shift focus elsewhere instead of running the BTCC team. And it's a bit of it is very gutting that Team Dynamics were taking a hiatus. There was rumours that they were going to come back, and then it's obviously, as time goes on, would they come back now and say, yes, we're going to, obviously they merged with the likes of, they merged with Accelerate and, and Restart Racing, etc., and stuff like that in the current breed of the BTCC. But, guys like Matt Neal, obviously, getting older, no disrespect, Matt, if you're watching this, we respect you. But, is there, would Team Dynamics still be around? And what would they run? Because, they were the stalwarts of BTCC for many years, long after the likes of Ray Mallet Limited and MSD, TWR, ProDrive, etc. Team Dynamics still carried on BTCC for many years after the big works teams had gone elsewhere, and it's a big shame, really, because, the likes of Tom Walkinshaw Racing that ran the Volvo, the trusty tank, as people call it, the 850 estate, when it came in 1994, that caused a few head turns. People like, ooh, what's this doing here? Why is this on the grid? And then, hey presto, it wasn't the best car. Then they downgraded it to the 850 Saloon for the next 2 years, and then the year after 96, they brought the Volvo S40, which seemed to be a car in its first year that was okay, but then they developed it better for 98 for Ricard Rydell to win his only British touring car title. And then obviously 99, it was becoming a bit hit and miss. Ricard had a lot of issues with that car, and then they called it quits. Same with the Renault Laguna. Williams F1 team ran the Renault Lagunas in from, I believe it was 94, 94 till 99, they ran the Laguna, and and that became a bit of a, combining Formula 1 to touring car, and TWR, Tom Walkinshaw Racing, were of course running the Arrows team in Formula 1. So, there's a lot of things ongoing. Obviously, ProDrive were running, obviously, Honda, Ford, and then eventually they were part of the Subaru World Rally team. And, it seemed to be a lot to take in, but I kind of yes, I kind of wish I knew BTCC previously to 99, but as the year 1999 became the year I went, I'm kind of glad to a degree I went in 1999 to get used to the British touring cars to then become, excuse me, a massive British touring car super fan, should we say? And yes, I can look back at the archives, and yes, I can, do all that jazz and stuff like that. But I think personally, given what's out there, with the BTCC to this day forward, I'm grateful that I'm still enjoying the racing. I'm still loving exactly what goes on with the championship. It's not easy following the championship. I'm not gonna lie. There's been some times where I've looked at it and I thought, this year's a bit, a bit hit and miss. The COVID pandemic campaign in 2020, when that was blighted by behind closed doors for a whole not a whole season, but part season. From, of course, Media Day at Silverstone 2020, that was behind closed doors because of fears of coronavirus being spread around. And then they said after Media Day that round one at Donington was cancelled because of a national lockdown. So it didn't happen until late August, and it carried on till like mid-November, and it was all behind closed doors. And I think that era, that year of BTCC of the COVID pandemic changed my perception of the British touring cars. I'm not trying to say it stopped me from enjoying it. It kind of became sort of, I don't know how to put it, but it sort of became a bit of a like, are we going to be able to go trackside ever again? Or are we going to be behind closed doors every time because of what's gone on and what is going on? And looking at it now, I do see potentially a future of BTCC. And if you are watching this, guys, and you think, what the hell am I on about? I do see eventually that it will be going fully electric. Until that day comes, I don't see it happening anytime soon, but I have a feeling it will become fully electric, and it will potentially probably drive people away. If it goes fully electric, will it drive people away, or will we still have fans that are going to go and enjoy the British Touring Car Championship? I, for one, if it does go fully electric, I'm going to be brutally honest, I may still carry on supporting the championship, or I may say, it's not for me. But, it is what it is. And yes, there's going to be some times where people are going to say, well, it's utter bullshit, excuse the language. But, it is what it is. I can't just say, it's going to go fully electric in 2030 when the government claim there's going to be more electric cars on the road. You've seen some of the electric cars. I hate to say it, but some of them look goddamn ugly as hell. But it is what it is. But I'm kind of, in a way, glad I got to know the BTCC when I did. I do wish I'd seen it sooner, because then I would have been following it for many years, and I would have been extremely knowing more stats and stuff like that. I'd have to research previous years from other years, like 97, 96 down, because I've got the 98 season review on DVD, so I know a bit about that. But previous years from 97 downwards to 91, I've got to do research, and there's no shame in doing research, and I think personally, given my experiences of BTCC, 25 and a bit years of a fan now, it's become a bit more elusive, and it becomes a bit more, I don't know what I'm trying to say, a bit more easier on myself to realise, this is what it is, and I think people are amazed how I know my stuff about British touring cars, even from yesteryears, you know, like way before I went. People have said to me when I've done British touring car replica commentating, people are like, wow, Hoppers, you know your stuff. And it's like, yes, because it's in there. In my brain, I feel like I've got a BTCC encyclopedia, you know, and I feel very privileged to actually share my thoughts and opinions, and also a bit of rant and a bit of probably a joy of sharing how I feel about Britain's premier motorsport category. You know, if someone said to me, Hoppers, if you didn't follow BTCC, what would you follow? I'd be brutally honest, I don't think there'd be any other motorsport out there unless it was like maybe British GT, maybe British Superbikes, but then again, maybe it took up more watching rallies and WRC. So who knows? You know, I'm grateful that I'm experiencing the British touring cars till whenever. You know, I'm scared to think what's going to happen in the next couple of years. You know, there's new changes for next year, 2026, you know, or 2027. You know, there's a lot of things. You know, we've got sustainable fuel and turbo boost this year. So what's that going to bring? Is that going to bring a new kettle of fish? You know, ditching the hybrid. You know, ditching the hybrid after 3 years of hybrid. Have they realised it's cost too much and it's just like it made a mess of the British Touring Car Championship? We don't know. You know, personally, the 3 years of hybrid, we shouldn't have really had it in the first place if it was going to be teething issues throughout the first year in 2022. You know, 2023 was a bit better last year. 2024 made it a bit more better, or should I say, an interesting spectacle with the likes of Jake Hill, you know, ultimately winning the championship. So, you know, there's a lot to take in. So I'm kind of grateful I followed the BTCC from when Super Touring was dying a death to the current date, and I'm still following it to this day. I'm still following it this year. I'm going to follow it next year. You know, who knows how long we're going to follow it for, because if it does, like I say, if it does go electric, then are we going to still get our fans still going to go trackside to go and watch a bunch of milk floats, should we say, racing, you know? But who knows? So if you've liked this vlog, please do give it a massive thumbs up. Please do like and subscribe. It will help me massively. Please do leave a comment what you think about the BTCC. What years have you gone to? And how long have you been a fan? Let me know in the comments. Let me know, do you wish you knew the BTCC earlier than you planned? Or do you think it was the right time for you? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to hear. Until the next vlog, guys, take it easy. Don't forget, like and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell, because you don't want to miss the next vlog. I'm going to be doing another vlog maybe tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be about yet, but it will be a great one. Have a great day, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Take it easy. Ta-ra.